Hey guys, in this video we are going to learn how to create a custom React Native bottom sheet using React Native Reanimated and React Native Gesture Handler. Now I've used native base for this project. So if you want to set up your React Native project using native base, you can check my other videos. I will paste a link to that in my description below. Okay. So this is a custom bottom sheet, right? So I've added three snap points to it: maximum height, the medium height, and the minimum height. And there's a threshold value as well, as you can see, below which it will return to its initial position. And then the animation works really smooth. And we are going to create a animated component of the box from native base and use it in our animation as well. It will be a really cool project and you can add this animation to any of your projects. Okay, so let's start coding. So first of all, as you can see, this is our bottom sheet currently without any animation or anything. I've just added the styles. This is our box, and this is our list, and this is just a simple list of some static elements. As you can see, it's just an array of string list title, so nothing else, and just some simple styles. So let's start creating the animation for this bottom sheet. At first, we are going to create the animated box component, which will be built to animated, which is from reanimated dot create animated component, and it will be a box. So this box is imported from native base, as you can see. And if you remember from my other videos, and when you were using native base, then you have to wrap your component using native base provider from uh, native base, as you can see here. So this is how it should be. You can wrap your component using animated box rather than box. So whichever component you are going to animate, you can wrap it using animated box rather than box. Now to use React Native Gesture Handler, we need to wrap our whole component using Gesture Handler root view. So rather than box, we are going to wrap our component that will be a container. So our container should be wrapped using Gesture Handler root view. Okay. We are going to wrap our drag bar container since we just want to be able to drag using this portion of our screen, this portion of our bottom sheet. So we are going to wrap our this part, this drag bar container part, using gesture detector, so that we are able to detect our gesture, our press, or our tap. We should be able to detect them, right? So we're going to wrap our this component, this drag bar using uh, gesture detector, and we're going to pass a gesture to it, and it will be gesture equal to drag gesture, but this is not being created. Okay, so let's create this one first. Const drag gesture equal to gesture, that is from React Native Gesture Handler. So gesture dot pan, and then dot first call the on update function. So the on update function will give us an event using which we'll be able to update, which will allow us to update the animation of our bottom sheet, and then we'll use the on end function, which will also take a event, and we're going to do whatever necessary requirements at the end of our animation. So when we stop dragging the bottom sheet, and then uh, there's other functions as well, like on finalize, but we don't need it right now. And there's another one that you can use if you require it. For this project, we didn't require it, but there's this another on begin, which is used many times whenever it's required. So that's all we're going to use for this. So first, to update the animation, we need some values that we're going to update, and based on the value, our the height of the bottom should be increase or decrease, right? So we're going to create that value first. So when we're using only the React Native Animated API, usually we use ref or use state, but in React Native Reanimated, it gives us the power of its hooks. Okay, so we have this hook called use shared value, and we're going to use it and initiate it with 0. So the initial value of our offset y of the value of the height specifically will be 0, and then we're going to create another shared value called saved offset, and it will have the same value of 0. We're going to use this saved offset to save our previous height, so that we'll be able to remember and use it to update the next time. So this is all the values that we'll require for this animation, and then based on these values, we are going to update the height. So first of all, we are going to uh, update the offset y dot value equal to e dot. So we are getting these values using this event. As you can see, absolute x, absolute y, and the tag, number of pointers, translation x, translation y, velocity x, velocity y. Among this, what we'll require is just this translation y. So it will give us the exact value of our translation y. So as we go up, it will be negative, and as we go down, it will be positive. And this plus saved offset. So whatever the previous uh, value we stored in the saved offset shared value, that will be added on the beginning. Otherwise, what will happen is every time we leave the animation, we leave the drag gesture, it will not remember the earlier height, and it will start again from 0. So the animation will look weird. And then this is it for the on begin. Next, sorry, this will be done in on update. So on updating, so on every update, on every drag, on every 1 dp update of your drag, this will happen. Okay, so that it seems seamless. Now in on and function, what we'll do is we'll update the saved offset first. Saved offset dot value equal to offset y dot value. So we'll say the last offset y dot value in the saved offset. Okay, and then leave it like that. But right now the animation will not work because we haven't added the styles for this. Okay, so we are going to create the const uh, animated styles equal to. So for this one, we're going to use another hook from React Native Reanimated. Use animated styles, sorry, style, and this gives another callback function inside which we're going to create a object, and this object will contain the equal to interpolate. So this is another function that is given from React Native Reanimated. We have imported it from React Native Reanimated, as you can see here, React Native Reanimated, and we're going to use this to interpolate the values of our height based on the offset y dot value, right? We are going to use this offset y dot value to interpolate, that means to change our values of the height. So this will take one array of input range, second array output range, and our easing function. So for this one, first the extrapolate left will have extrapolation dot clamp, because we want to stop the animation at the peak point and the bottom point. So to cancel the animation right at the peak and right at the bottom end and the top end, we are going to set the extrapolate left and extrapolate right to clamp. There's other animation types like extend. It will extend the animation to farther bottom, but we don't want it. We want the animation and right where we want it to. Now, where do we want the animations to end, right? Who will create those values? First, we're going to get the screen height. So, small screen height is screen height equal to dimensions from React Native dot that window, okay, dot height. And so we give us screen height, and using the screen height, we're going to, let's say 100, and const shape min height equal to let's say 100. Okay, well, this one is 200. I've set it to static here in the styles, but now after adding this, we'll remove this static styles, initial style values. So this will be our sheet maximum height and minimum height. And then we're going to calculate the maximum y that will be negative, right? The upper part will be, as we go up, it will be negative. So maximum y value for the animation will be shaped mean height minus shaped max height, right? Since the minimum value say is 100, since we have set it to 100, and say screen height is 800, and 800 minus 100 will be 700. So 100 minus 700, so maximum height from here will be minus 600. That's what we are calculating here. And const main y equal to, we're going to set it to 0 for now. So this is how it is now. This should work. Now we have to add the input range. Now we have to add the input range and output range. So the input range will be um, max y and min y. That will be the value of the offset y dot value. And the output range, what we want the animated height to be. So that will be uh, so before that, the input range must always be increasing. Okay, so max y is negative and min y is 0, so it is increasing. And that's okay. Now this one can be anything that we want the animated height to be. So I want it to be shape max height to shape min height. That's how it should be, where we go from max y say minus 600 to 100 0, then the max height should also decrease from say 600 800 to some 100, right? 700 to 100. Okay, that's how it should be. Now we need to add the animated styles to our sheet container. So we'll wrap it inside a array and sheet container, and we're going to add the animated styles. And okay, use animated selection object found undefined instead. Okay, we didn't return the animated styles, right? We updated the animated height, but we never returned anything here. This is it. We need to return it here. Return height. Let's take the spring function and we give the animated height first, and the second one will be the configuration for our animation. Okay, with spring animation configuration. So you can just leave it up till until this one. So this will work. But I want to set a custom configuration for our animation. So for that, I have set it up. I found that this is the best which works for this project. The dumping will be 60 only, stiffness will be 100, and mass will be 0.3. This is mass, not max. Now it should work as expected. Yeah, as you can see, it's working as expected now. So now it works, but I want it to be more dynamic, and I don't want to uh, scroll it all the way up or all the way down every single time. So for that, we are going to add some more code to this so that we are able to do it without any problem. We're going to add a check here if e dot translation y less than 0. That means we're going above, right? So if we're going above, then we are dragging up offset y dot value equal to max y, and of course say offset dot value equal to offset y dot value. Yeah, and else down, that means dragging down, we are going to do the opposite. So this will be same. So we don't require it here. It stays here. It's on, and min y, and this will be it. So whenever it notices that there is a positive, there's a negative value in the translation y, it automatically goes up, and this happens, and this happens, and yeah, it's smooth like butter, right? It's pretty easy if you understand it properly. If you want to tweak the animations, again, I will say that you can read the documentation and find out, and just tweak it a little bit and find your best animation using configuration, animation using configuration for this one. And yeah, so now we're going to add a threshold value, const threshold, let it be 40. No, let it be, it'll be 40 for now. So threshold value, we're going to add a threshold value to this so that the animation can stop uh, if we drag it, if the dragging value is less than that threshold value. Okay. So for this to work, we are going to add some more code here in our onEnd function. Here we are going to check if e dot translation y is less than 0, then we're going to check e dot translation y is, it's dragging up. That means it's negative, right? Greater than equal to minus threshold minus threshold, then it's main y, else it's max y. Let's try this if it works. So it's driving, okay, it works. Yeah, so you can see it's working now. So what I did here is that, so as we go up, since it will be a negative value, so if e dot translation was, it will be negative, say minus 30 is greater than or equal to minus threshold, that will be minus 40. So since it's greater than this, or greater than or equal to this, so the value will come below, the bottom sheet will come below. And if it doesn't work like that, if it's greater, if it's less than, that means if minus 50, if it becomes minus 50, since this is minus 40, so this doesn't satisfy, then it goes to max y. Simple, right? And then similarly, we're going to do this here as well. E dot translation y is um, less than threshold. Since this is breaking down, it will be positive value, right? So it's less than threshold, then we are going to send it back to max y. That was min y. Okay, so it should work now. As you can see, it's working. And we go, and if we want to increase this, maybe we can set it to 60 and check. As you can see, it's more, right? Similarly, it works, right? So similarly, we can add another breakpoint. So we're going to create this bottom sheet using three breakpoints. Okay. So for the third breakpoint, we're going to add another mid y here. So const mid y equal to max y plus min y by 2. Since our min y is 0, so max y by 2. And that will be some value. I don't care right now. But we are able to, we'll be able to uh, send the bottom sheet there easily. So we can just check. We can check if saved after value min y. So if this satisfies, then we are going to send it to first to min y if this threshold doesn't satisfy, otherwise mid y. And next we're going to else if is mid y, then we're going to check and we're going to substitute to mid y, otherwise max y. Okay, and then we're going to check first. What will be checked? We'll check if saved offset dot value is exactly equal to max y. First, we'll check that. So if that works, if this happens, is less than threshold, then max y, otherwise mid y. And then this will be else if this is mid y, then what will happen is offset that y is as in threshold and mid y, otherwise min y. And now it should work pretty nicely. I've added all the conditions, it should work. This works, this works, this works, goes up again, this works, and it goes down. Okay, and It's cool, right? Yep, I think it's cool. But what I don't like is that whenever I try to move it all the way to the top, it doesn't listen to me and it goes back to mid. We need to check that out as well. While in meanwhile, we need to check if speed of translation y, if e dot translation y is less than or equal to mid y, then what we want to do is that offset dot set offset dot y dot value is equal to uh, max y. Sorry, yeah, max y. Yep, that's what we want. Else, and this can happen in else. So if you get confused, then you can check my video again. So now if we go past the mid value, then it should go up. That's working. Okay. And then for dragging down also, we need to add this whenever this is max y. Whenever this is max y, we need to check if e dot translation y, hold up, e dot translation y will be positive is greater than minus mid y. If this will be greater than minus mid y, then we want this to happen greater than or equal to minus mid y. Then we want the offset y dot value is equal to min y. This. Okay. Let's check if this works and this works. Okay. Cool. So all the functionalities have been added. So we are able to, the threshold is also working and we are able to bring it down, bring it all the way up, and this is it. This is our React Native custom bottom sheet using React Native Reanimated and React Native Gesture Handler, and of course we are using native base. So this is important. So whenever you are doing animation of any sort, so you need to wrap your component using animated, right? So in React Native we wrap it using animated, and if you're using native base, then you need to create an animated blocks component like this. So that's how you can create any kind of animation using this. So thank you for watching this video. If you like it, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.